Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. So in today's video, I want to talk about a topic that has really gained my interest over these last 2 weeks. It's a card that has not been reprinted since 2007. It's a card that was a cover card for one of the sets in the OCG and TCG Strike of Neos, and it's a card that Judai Yuki used a few times in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and that card is Elemental Hero Air Neos. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know already about the weird circumstances that surround Air Neos, and it goes way beyond the fact that this card has not been reprinted since 2007, where a lot of Neos cards and a lot of new Neos cards have been reprinted or printed since then. But with a new Neos support card that came out a few weeks ago, Instant Contact, the conspiracies surrounding Air Neos kind of circulated a lot more recently, and so I wanted to do a video just diving into this whole conspiracy, if you will, and give my own 2 cents on it and see what you guys think about the mystery behind this card. And so Air Neos is a monster that was used a few times by Judai throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series. I believe it was the only Neos fusion that did not debut in Season 2. I think it did debut in Season 3, and I believe he used it 3 times in Seasons 3 and Seasons 4. And if you own this card, which was released in the Strike of Neos set in the TCG, you are sitting on a pretty penny. This card is worth about $170, and you might be asking yourself, why is that card worth so much? Well, it has not been reprinted in 15 years. It was released in Strike of Neos. It was the cover card for that set, and it has not been reprinted once since then. And so that's led a lot of people to ask the question, why? I think why is always a great question we can ask for a lot of different topics, and this is no different. Why has Air Neos been seemingly forgotten by Konami? And the more you dive into it, the weirder the story gets. So Elemental Hero Air Neos, to my knowledge, has been featured in quite a few video games. It was featured in Link Evolution most recently. However, Elemental Hero Air Neos is not in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and even more suspiciously, not in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I think it's the only Neos card that's been released that is not accessible in Master Duel, and there's a few that I think are missing in Duel Links, but it's not accessible in Duel Links either. However, it was just in Legacy of the Duelist, which was only about 3 years ago. So the common theory surrounding Elemental Hero Air Neos is that there is an issue with a legality rights for the card. And the card might have been a copyrighted drawing. There might be some sort of copyright issue with the artist that drew Elemental Hero Air Neos. Maybe the artist plagiarized an already existing IP, and Konami and Shueisha are aware of this, and that's why they don't have any legal rights, or they don't want to risk distributing the card again because the artwork is plagiarized and they don't have the rights to it. That's a pretty interesting theory that I think does hold a little bit of weight, and that's why it's not craftable in Master Duel or accessible in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. The other theory is that there might be an issue with the name of the card, because Neos Air, and this is all stuff that I've kind of found on Reddit, pretty popular fan theories over the years, because Neos Air, excuse me, is an airline in Italy. And because Neos Air is an airline in Italy, they don't want to use the name Air Neos because of that reason, which that one, as someone who has a little bit of a business background, that doesn't really hold too much weight. Neos Air and Air Neos, there's enough of a difference there. And also, you can't really own a name. I mean, you can trademark a name, but you can still name something similarly if it's for an entirely different product. Air Neos being a trading card and Neos Air being an airline, I don't think there would really be any issue there. So I don't know if that theory holds too much weight, but it is interesting that that is a theory that's gained a little bit of ground in the community over the years. And then other people will say there's no issue. The card is just not that good, and so Konami's not going to bother reprinting it, even though they've reprinted a lot of Neos, I think every Neos monster, or almost everyone probably, over the years. And some people say that people make nothing out of this. But I think there's more, and maybe it's the conspiracy theory loving person, the harmless conspiracy theories, of course, loving person within me that wants there to be more and thinks there's more, because if that was the case, if Konami really felt like it just wasn't a card worth reprinting, why make the decision to exclude it from Master Duel, a game that has so many, I think almost every card is craftable in Master Duel? Why make the decision to exclude that card specifically? And it gets more interesting when you look at a card that was revealed 2 weeks ago in the slew of Neo support that came out, and that card is Instant Contact. So Instant Contact is a card that is coming out in the OCG in, I believe, a few weeks or in about a month, and this card artwork is ripped right from a scene in opening 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Teardrop. Fantastic opening. Listen to it if you have not, or listen to it again if you have not in a while. Fantastic opening. Let's watch that scene real quick. So you see all the Neos fusions flash from behind Neos. It's a really cool shot. And let's take a look at the card. Obviously, it's just ripped from that opening, with one pretty major difference. I'm going to have a side-by-side right here. You notice a monster at the very top of Neos in the opening 3? That is Elemental Hero Air Neos. You notice how he's not on the card that was printed and revealed 2 weeks ago? Another decision to, if you will, censor Elemental Hero Air Neos from the record books. And so why is, once again, this is another example, this is another instance where Elemental Hero Air Neos is clearly, purposefully being hidden away from us as Yu-Gi-Oh! Players by Konami. I don't have any issue with people thinking that this is nothing, that it's just them not wanting to reprint an old card. You know, it is what it is. I get that. But I have a little bit of an issue with the fact that they chose to not put it in Master Duel. It's not in Duel Links, and now they are making another effort, another obvious effort to exclude Elemental Hero Air Neos from the spell card Instant Contact. And that leads me to believe that there might be a copyright issue with the card. That maybe when the card was drawn, it was plagiarized. The only other card that Elemental Hero Air Neos appears on is Dimension Explosion, which was also released in 2007. So it's not like this Elemental Hero monster has made any sort of appearance on a card between 2007 and present day, which is 15 years. I mean, that's a long time, guys. I was 12 years old when Elemental Hero Air Neos came out. I mean, that is a long time. And you might not know this, but there have been Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards before that have had to change their artwork due to plagiarism issues. The only one that I know of is Mad Lobster, and I actually learned this from Reddit user Spoons Are Evil when I was going through a few Reddit posts regarding this topic. Mad Lobster is a card that came out in 2005. I'm sure 90% of you probably don't even know this card because why would you? But let's take a look at the original art for Mad Lobster, and let's compare it to the Sea Claw monster in the Altel card game, which was released in 2004. Hopefully that's not a card game that I'm butchering the name of. It probably is. And you can see that this is clearly plagiarized. The artist who drew Mad Lobster, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, looked at the Altel Sea Claw and said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep every single feature, except I'm going to replace the head with a more demonic, creepier looking head, and we'll call it a day. And that's literally what they did. This was legitimately a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card before Konami or Shueisha, whoever it was, realized, oh no, you clearly plagiarized this. I'm sure they fired the artist and they changed it to a more detailed and better looking monster that maybe has inspiration from the Altel monster, but is clearly not a carbon copy ripoff, just with a different head. So there have been instances before in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where plagiarism has happened. Now, they changed the artwork for this. Why wouldn't they just change the artwork for Air Neos if that's the case? I don't really know. The other thing is no one has ever been able to point to the card that Air Neos supposedly rips off. Right, this has been out for 15 years. You'd think one person would say, huh, you know, Elemental Hero Air Neos looks a lot like that Altel card, or a lot like that Shadowverse card. I don't think Shadowverse was around in 07, but you know what I mean. No one's been able to point out the card that Air Neos might rip off. So, you know, and also it was included in Legacy of the Duelist, which came out only 3 or 4 years ago. So there are so many weird circumstances surrounding Elemental Hero Erneos, and I thought with the recent support card being Instant Contact, the fact that it was censored again, the fact that it's not accessible in Master Duel, and these are all, of course, new developments that have happened over the last month and a half regarding Elemental Hero Erneos, I felt like it was a good time to kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive and delve into the backstory and conspiracies surrounding this card. What do I think? I think that there is some sort of legality issue. I'm not sure if it's necessarily plagiarized artwork. I'm not sure if it's a naming issue. And I know you just say, well, Dylan, why don't they just change the artwork or the name? I don't know. Maybe the people that say there is no issue here and they just don't want to reprint it, maybe they do have a little bit of weight there, and that's why they don't want to go through the effort of changing the name or reprinting it. I mean, Firewall Dragon was banned for a long time. It probably only got an errata because it was Playmaker's ace monster. I mean, Erneos was used in the GX anime, but it was not, it's not the first Elemental Hero fusion monster I think of when I think of E-Heroes and GX, and so maybe they just really don't feel like there's a need to change it. But I do definitely think there is some sort of legality issue, and maybe that legality issue rose a little more after it was in Legacy of the Duelist, and that's why it's not in Master Duel. That's why it's clearly censored from Instant Contact. I don't know. It is a weird, weird story, and any thoughts or theories that you guys have on it, I would love to know down below in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you didn't even know anything about the history of Erneos, and so you learned something new. Either way, I want to thank you guys so much for being here and checking out the video. And if there are any other cards like this, please let me know. I would love to know if there are any other cards that have just weird stories, the way they've been kind of handled or treated behind them, and maybe I'll do a video diving into one of those card stories as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, and Jarrett Buller, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Erick Avila, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons, Ccapacappuuu and Syn Cloud. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who is a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out and you help out this channel so much. I cannot begin to explain how thankful and appreciative I am for each and every one of you. Definitely check out my Patreon for more channel exclusive perks down below in the description. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Links for all those are down below. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.